There you go. I've been talking this whole time. I didn't realize my mic was off. Let's do it again. Hello, Mossy Punk. This is what I was doing. Hello, Robert Henry, looking sexy. Aaron Ludwig, Emma D, yeah. Congrats, Dudley Coda, thank you. John Doe, 3 more hours. That was a weird minute, 5 minutes. Yes, I bet it was. The dance said all the words you needed. Oh, you really can't see how much hips action is going on below the belt. What did you just turn into? Tom Lehrer drinks. Ooh, we could try something. I don't know what we do with that. All right, let's put a pin in that. Tom Lehrer. Also, I think I found the source of a particular high-pitched squeal that's been driving me nuts in here. It was a 24-volt power adapter that runs the lights on the shelves. I had to replace it. You can feel the action. Yeah, I'm dancing for tips. If you got tips, I'm dancing. How's that sound? I can't really strip because of content regulations, my disgustingly flabby body, and also the fact that the microphone would stop working. But you can see me stripping in your mind, Robert Fenton. Yeah, so welcome to the show. A couple of things. I got the music situation kind of fixed up. I got an HDMI audio inserter. It's allowing me to insert my audio right past the terrible preamps in my A10 Mini 4 ISO Pro. We're just sliding right past them. Yeah, baby. So let me know if the audio is good or not. Also, if it's doubling, let me know. I don't want to wear in-ear monitors. It would be really annoying and hurt my brain for like 3 hours, because the ones I have are great. You won't even see that I'm wearing them. They're truly invisible. But I don't love wearing them for multiple hours. I do wear them for multiple hours when Meredith and I podcast, but frankly, I might just stop doing that. Hello, Bubblegum85. You better be glad you joined Dead Space Main. Good audio, no doubling. Yeah, so the doubling would be because the bizarrely, when I inject audio into from my Mac that's sitting right here out of view, my old iMac, when I inject it into the HDMI from the tiny camera from over here, that's, believe it or not, the audio is coming from the close-up camera because I had to inject it somewhere. For some reason, it comes out of my teleprompter monitor that I'm reading. I don't understand. It's bizarre. But anyway, the only way I can hear it is by just turning the teleprompter monitor down really low and kind of hoping that it doesn't come through. Oh, am I wearing pants? Well, Bad Llama, that's for me to know and you to find out. I need a cigar and a scotch. I don't like cigars. And honestly, I'm not huge on scotch, so that'd be rough. How about an edible and a Mai Tai? Am I wearing pants? What do I do on these streams? Well, in this particular stream, we're gonna do it. Let's do it. Even educated bees do it. Let's fall in love. Prop cigar. If I had one of those long cigarette things, like the Penguin or an Upper West Side Maven, I would use one of those. Looking absolutely dapper, Zaddy. Maybe the 5th time I've been called the Zaddy, so I'll take it. Thank you. We're turning it on. Someone's feeling funky, and I got the entire, thank God, I finally set this up. I got the entire library of my, really jazzy, of my Epidemic account, so we can listen to any music you want from Epidemic Audio. That way we don't get demonetized. Where is Mike MGTV? Man, Mike, when you're back, if you're happen to tune in and you come back to New Jersey, let me know. So what are we gonna do today? Well, apparently we might make a drink for Tom Lehrer. I like that guy. We might make bitters, or like very rough bitters, because I need a particular kind of bitters that don't exist for an upcoming episode. Excuse me as I belch loudly. In the edited show, the Drink Man's burps get edited out. But here live, You gotta live with it. I'm sorry. Yo, shout out royalty-free Epidemic Music. Would you make a video about student cocktails or cocktails young people would drink? I feel like we've done that, in fact, because we've done a lot of stuff on like horrible frat house shots. So those, you could make a blood-stained pie. Yeah, man. Well, Mike comes back to New Jersey every so often. I should shoot him a text. I should just be like, yo, Mike, watch. He's like in the area and he just drops by. I have to order takeout then because I don't think we have enough. Raw, unfiltered Greg cocktail daddy. Is the music too loud? I don't know. Alien brain hemorrhage. I don't know. This is a funny thing. So here's a cool thing. Let me tell you guys some facts. Let me lay these facts on you while I adjust some stuff on my computer so I can access it. But then I'm going to lay facts on you. Stand by. Incoming facts. I had, what? Only 2:45. Get the peeps in here. Maybe this is a bad thumbnail. We should switch it. I had a whole episode planned for today. It is just shy of an hour long. I shot it depressingly 2 days ago, which means I had to work really fast on it. And it was all about Aphrodisiac cocktails. But that episode became pretty inaccessible for the average audience. There was a lot of experimentation in the middle of it when I just fumbling around inventing cocktails. And I used a Spinzall, which is a centrifuge, for basically the whole episode. I don't know how that happened, but somewhere along the lines, I was like, ooh, what else can I put in this thing? And then I realized, oh my God, I made an episode for nobody. for people who really want to do deep dives into the laboratory of cocktails. And if the music is loud, the music is loud. We can crank it down a touch. Anyway, so what I ended up doing was I made it a patron exclusive. Some people are, once in a while when I've suggested doing such a thing, people have said, oh, so you take your garbage and make it for people who pay to the Patreon? No, that's not right at all. They're a different audience. This is the kind of thing that they'll love, but that would die on the vine on YouTube. And if I drop a 1 hour long video on YouTube and nobody watches it, YouTube's gonna give me a spanking, and they're just not gonna show people my next video. I can't do that. But if you wanna see this week's episode, hop on down into the, how do I do something here? Sorry, if you want to see the episode that should have gone live today, use the link in the description of this video to go to htdapp.com, or just go to htdapp.com, become a patron, and you will have access to today's episode. Otherwise, I will be back next week with another episode, probably even maybe two, of the show. In the meantime, we're going to do this live stream. Maybe we will make some aphrodisiacal cocktails. Maybe I'll even make one of the ones from the show. Although I don't know. I'm a little bit low on some of the ingredients I made up for that. And did I just stop the chat from scrolling? Hey, if you're in there, okay, there, I did stop it. Anyway, so htdapp.com, you'll get access to the HTD app. You will get access to behind the scenes and exclusive content and entire hour-long episodes that only exist over on my Patreon. Check that out. This is the Patrathon. I am here to drive you deep up into my Patreon. So don't make no bones about it. There's a function to this. There's a mission. The thing is that Rodney is who I am, Ben. That is in me. None of that was scripted when Rodney came out. The normal Greg is scripted. The regular Greg is a mask I wear over Rodney, just so we know. That's right, Irby the Gerbies. Oh, what? Laughing my ass off, says Long Pizza. Last time Greg asked on here, Greg said he wasn't a nerd, but upon further research, I have concluded that Greg is in fact a nerd. When did I say I wasn't a nerd? Hey, I want to get something. Hold on. Meredith and I are having a debate about this. Hold on. I'm still here. Hey, guess what, gang? I'm standing next to the How to Drink. Actually, I can't say How to Drink because How to Drink didn't pay for it. I'm going to say the Greg Corp because Greg Corp paid for it. The How to Drink sink. I have a sink now in my studio. I've wanted a sink in this studio for 8 motherfucking years, even before it was this studio, back when it was the old studio, I've wanted a sink, and now I've got one at long last. So these are figs. Figs are famously an aphrodisiac and also not my favorite fruit, except for when I turned them into fig rum. That was phenomenal, and maybe I will make up a batch of fig rum on the show here. It doesn't take that long. But I want to show you all something, okay? Can you see my hand here? Great. Now, I'd always heard that figs are regarded historically as an aphrodisiac because of the way that they feel in the hand. Balls. They feel like balls, okay? Like icy cold corpse nuts. But Meredith tells me that she's always heard, and I believe she has Sex in the City to thank for this, that figs look like a vagina when you cut them open. And, I mean, maybe I just haven't been around enough, but I beg to differ. But you tell us, this is the debate for the episode. Figs, balls or vagina? It can be both. That's true. Ow. They're such an interesting flavor. I'm liking them more and more. They're very earthy. They have a real earthiness to them. But they do make an awesome rum. They bridge the divide. To make the rum, I would need, I'm thinking about it. I'll need the blender and the Spinzall and about 15 minutes of time. The blender, oh, no, I can't do that because the kids made me make them a smoothie, so the blender's busy. A common offering for fertility gods. Oh my God, aphrodisiacs for necrophiliacs. That sounds like a late 70s or early 80s punk rock album that I would have fucking loved. I've gotten really into The Damned, but specifically their first album and a half. And like if I put them on Spotify, sometimes it'll just play like other stuff. And I'm like, this has to be a different band. And I looked into it. I finally found out that The Damned is maybe the greatest punk rock band ever. And the worst goth band ever. The robe is working. Nice. I figured, Irby, that was for you. Believe it, I was thinking of you when I brought up The Damned because I was like, I know this guy's got damned opinions. I know it. That's amazing. Which singer, Jason? Because apparently they've had like 20 people in their lineup. Oh, all right. If the robe is on the mic, we can't have that. Ugh, I do look better in the robe, though, don't I? I think if it's open, I stop looking like a Lothario and start looking like a wizard or something. But like not a cool wizard, but like a Victorian, like, you know, Golden Dawn wizard. No, the robe! See ya, opossum of the pine. Have you the sound of animals screaming? What? I don't know. Is that an album or something or a song? I have not. Clip the mic to the robe lapel. Yeah, that would be the move to do, wouldn't it? It's a little toasty with the robe on, to be honest. I may put it back on because I am prone to coldness. And also, I don't really know if I want to make cocktails with all this velour right by my hands. I mean, all right, fine, fuck it. You guys seem to be enjoying my smoking jacket. Robe opens, shows your working man side. Yeah, let's see here. Let's see. Charcoal grill, superior to all other grills. Thoughts? Much like cameras, the best grill is the one you'll actually use. And if charcoal is a bridge too far for you, I would say that charcoal is garbage. Ooh, baby, the one you'll use. So what are we going to do today? I don't really know. Well, we had a Tom Lehrer cocktail request. Thinking Tom Lehrer, and if you don't know who Tom Lehrer is, you really should know who Tom Lehrer is. Not the flat top, fuck the flat top. Let's think about this. Put the mic on the robe! Well, the thing of that is that the mic is through a buttonhole. And I feel like we're actually asking for trouble by doing this. But we'll try it. We'll try it. I feel like now we've got some tension here. I don't know, none of your business. I'm broke, so. Poisoning pigeons in the park? Isn't that Tiny Tim? It might be Tom Lair, actually. Now you can open a button, says Ben Pebbles. The sexiest actor from the decades. Well, it's not Tom Lair. The moment turning on, I see you getting dressed in a robe like you're just waking up. Yeah, just waking up. Wiener Schnitzel Waltz. I don't know that one. I mostly, with Tom, I know The Year That Was the Year, that album, that live performance. So I'm thinking New Math. I'm thinking the Vatican Rag. I'm obviously thinking of Werner von Braun. Those are the thoughts that come to mind. Order 69. What are your thoughts on mocktails? They're cool. I gotta start making them. In fact, I have a bunch of ingredients that I got to support that. Why don't we talk about upcoming content for How to Drink? Let me just see how many people are watching at this moment too, because like I'm a whore for that kind of information. Oh, I'm still punching in. We don't need that in the show. Why is that not? Hold on a second. Okay. I'm just like looking at I have the world's tiniest monitor on here right now. I wonder if I can just like take the levels out. Output, multi-view. Yeah, whatever, fuck it. Okay, I don't know Masochism Tango. Oh, maybe I do, vaguely. We'll come back to that in a moment. Favorite Mexican beer and tequila recommendations. I don't know. I mean, I know that the guys I used to work with at the metal shop were into Tecate with a chili powder inside, tossed in, and a twist of lime, actually. That was pretty cool. Which to me means that they don't actually like Tecate. Like, yeah, we got this beer we like, we bury in other flavors. Let me see here. And then for tequila, I like Fortaleza. I'm told it's a little pricey. I think that the standard I go for, and I'm looking at a bottle of it right now when I'm making drinks, is La Gratona Reposado. I just use that. I don't know. I don't really have massive tequila. Yeah, Irby, right on, man. Yeah, if you guys join the Patreon, you'll get access to our private Discord where Irby Gerbies is. And there's all kinds of people who honestly are more into the minutiae of spirits than me. Back to, let's talk about what I'm going to be doing on the show. I am going to do some kind of an episode on mocktails. This is one of the reasons that I got screwed up timing-wise on episode content creation, is because I shot an episode, or what I hope to be an episode, that I can't release to anybody. It was no good. It was a monologue, and I was just kind of sitting around with like a fake beer, like one of those athletic beers, talking about how mixology is dead. And like, I can't, when I have tried like 3 or 4 times to write like a scripted monologue episode, and they don't work. They don't work on my show because I don't have a live audience. I can't do an opening monologue from a late night show. I probably could, not to toot my own horn. I think I could do that job, but I would love to do that job. But I can't do it here because there's no audience. And without an audience, none of that shit works. It just sucks really bad. And so it just feels awkward and bad and dumb and like I'm being a dick or something instead of being funny. So I couldn't use that. But I want to revisit that. We did a lot of research on, we will type loudly for you. Meredith and I did some research on alcohol trends that I think is a valid thing to talk about. And what is with all this heavy metal? Get this, what is this racket? This music? This does not feel like the funky soul music. Man. So I want to use that in another episode, and I'll probably do mocktails in it. I think we'll do that. I'll do some kind of mocktails in it. What I'm trying to toy about is, do I want to just do straight up mocktails, which I have to learn how to make, honestly, good ones, because I have a very dismissive attitude about mocktails. Not that I'm dismissive of the idea of non-alcoholic beverages. I'm kind of dismissive of the idea of trying to elevate them. I think that like what you want is a soft drink. You're describing soft drinks. A Coca-Cola is a pretty good mocktail, particularly if you put a little lime in it. Yeah, I was going for porno soundtrack. Thank you, Baron. So then when I was looking into that, there's this whole category of drink called functional drinks that, to be blunt, seem to be marketed to girls on Instagram. That I don't understand why they exist. They're non-alcoholic. You have to be on the Patreon, Ben. Anyway, so sorry, they are. So they're non-alcoholic and, sorry, functional drinks. Non-alcoholic and they have ingredients in them that are supposed to like do stuff, right? They have adaptogens. Adaptogens are bullshit, by the way. Adaptogen is a word that was made up by a Soviet scientist during and just after World War II, quack, because the USSR couldn't afford real medicine for their soldiers, and they said, those traditional medicine over there, those roots, they'll cure everything. If you got too little of something, they'll give you more. They got too much of something, they'll give you less. So he had like 3 rules for adaptogens, and it was like, it has to treat non-specific ailments. It'll fix anything. It has to, I forget what it is, but it was just like, oh, quackery. We're talking about quackery. Got it. And so they call them functional drinks and adaptogens, and they are non-alcoholic beverages that are very expensive for what they are, to be blunt, that have adaptogens in it. Now, the thing of it is that adaptogens may or may not do something, but they're not adaptogens, because what an adaptogen is supposed to do is like balance something. That's what they claim. It adapts to your needs. So if you have too little of this hormone, it'll boost it. And if you have too much of this hormone, it'll suppress it, which is crazy because nothing works like that and it pisses me off. That is bunk. They do things. They fuck with your hormones in ways that have not been fully studied. And they are usually cited as being ways to boost your libido. So they almost came up in my Aphrodisiac cocktails episode, which was released exclusively to Patreon today. And if you want to see it, go get on the Patreon at htdapp.com. So they do fuck with your hormones, though. And they're always billed as being like they increase your libido. And if you go to the websites for these functional drinks, the one that comes off the top of my head is Bella Hadid's Kin Euphorics. First off, the very name, Kin Euphorics, it's supposed to create euphoria without having any psychoactive ingredients. And then like the list of things it'll do for you is bananas, but they also strongly imply that it's gonna make you horny. And some of these adaptogens will apparently, in some studies, and I haven't looked into how good the studies are, but I'm sure they're pretty bad, will increase libido and sexual satisfaction in women. Sometimes, in like, you know, insignificant but not like, whoa, kind of ways. Well, the way that they probably do that, although they haven't studied this, is by increasing your testosterone. And the reason you can kind of infer that is because they also say, hey, by the way, if you're prone to hormone-based cancers, maybe don't use these. So anyway, I bought them. I bought Damayana, I bought some ashwagandha, and I bought, I don't know, the other one, I forget what it was. I was gonna make extracts from them and use those into some motorcycles make girls more active. Orc War Chief, when my wife and I were dating, I was like, yeah, I might want to get a motorcycle. She told me I'm not allowed to get a motorcycle, so I never got into motorcycles. Probably for the best, I'm pretty klutzy. Hello, Lord Flashheart. So I bought them, and I don't know if I'm going to do them in a non-alcoholic like mocktails episode. I may make reference to them and then do another episode talking about that, talking about the adaptogens and functional drinks, and is it bullshit, and what should you know about them, and how can you work with them if you want to, because there does seem to be a little bit of interest around there. And then I want to do an episode using THC to make drinks. People have asked me for that a few times, the THC drinks, and I am relenting. I've decided to do that, and I've been doing a lot of research on it. And I picked up a book, actually, on making THC cocktails. It got really good reviews, but I am not thrilled with this book at all. I'm bummed out by it. I don't feel like... Oh, thank you, Daniel. Have you ever thought about doing more? Oh, I saw your comment the other day, but I chose to ignore it. Sorry. No, I haven't thought about doing any more with Mahia and L'Chaim. But anyway, I want to do the THC cocktails episode. I bought the book on the THC cocktails thinking that'd be a really good jumping off point. But like, this guy lays out, like, he starts with how to make extracts, how to make tinctures and stuff like that, but without any regard to dosage and without any kind of a systematic methodology that would tell you, hey, 1 milliliter of this extract is X milligrams of THC. And since I am a fucking lightweight and I take a 10 milligram edible and I cut it into thirds and get out of my fucking mind on a third of the thing, I need that information. I can't be like, yeah, you just use some and see what happens. I can't be that guy. So what I've been doing is a bunch of research on basically the best and most accessible way to approach THC cocktails. Cowboying THC cocktails is crazy work. Why? I don't fully understand what you mean by cowboying in that case. If you explain, I'd like to use that term, I think. Are you okay, Greg? You look like you're hot. Ooh. Is it too bright in here? We can make it a little moodier if you want. Let's see here. Let's make it a little moodier. So I'm deciding how I want to approach that episode. One of the things that's going to be like fundamental for it is the fact that you should know the starting content of what you're working with, and happily at my dispensary, they list that stuff. There are tools you can buy, and they're pricey, too pricey for me to buy for the episode, probably like $400, but that's also not insane if this is like a thing you're into, that apparently do a pretty good job of telling you the THC content of your shit. And that's pretty cool. But if you go to, like, I don't know about other states where they have them, but at our dispensary, like, whatever you buy, they say it has this many milligrams in it or this percentage, depending on what it is. So if you're buying, I guess the term is flower. I don't know why I hate that term. It pisses me off. If you're buying weed, plants, it'll say X% THC. And then you can just do the math. You can say, well, this is 3.5 grams times X%. This is, 920 milligrams total. If I make a 1-to-1 extract of that, I will have 3.5 milliliters with 920 milligrams of THC in it as an upper theoretical maximum. Probably not, but let's worry about worst case scenario, which to me is like overdosing. And by overdosing, obviously I just mean getting way too fucked up. And then dilute that, right? Because like that would mean that a milliliter has 260 or something like that milligrams of THC, which would be fucking bananas, right? Like I want like a milligram to be like maybe 1 or 2, or I want 1 milliliter to be 1 or 2 milligrams when I'm all said and done with it. But I want to give you the tools when I do this episode to make it however you want. The problem is, unless it's something like distillate, it's going to be pretty hard to get an accurate activated amount. You'll be in a range, and at less than 10 milligrams, you got to be careful. Well, I mean, technically, right, so like a 1-to-1 solvent extract should actually extract all of the solutable elements of your THC. So if you use ethanol, 95% ethanol, you should get, not your THC, your fucking weed. You should get all the terpenes and all the THC and all the CBD. They should all come out, 100% of that, and saturate the alcohol. And they're miscible, so you can take as much as you want. And it should do it in 24 hours. Like that's the science on that. The only question is your yield, how much of it gets absorbed back into the plant, but nonetheless, that should be the content, or at least the upper maximum theoretical, right? So at worst, it's gonna be weaker than you think, but I think that's better than it being significantly stronger than you think. It's, you know, because then you can just be like, oh, I'd like another milligram of that. That's the theory on that. The, yes, though, distillate would be the best, right? So, and then the reason I started looking into all that is because originally I was just like, I'm just gonna use the tinctures. I'm just gonna buy tinctures at my dispensary and use those, and I'll know exactly what my dose is in theory. However, that is not the case because they're all flavored, and I don't want to add flavors to my THC cocktails. I want to work with, I don't mind working with the flavor of weed, you know, I think that's fine. I just don't want to be like, and here's my artificial strawberry flavor that we have to put in there because it's attached to this tincture. So you got to make your own tinctures, apparently, at least where I'm at. You can do that, by the way. I think we can do that using extract as well, which I gather is for this. I don't know. I'm like a real novice. You could use extract, I think. That will be soluble in ethanol, but it will also have a lot of the terpenes and stuff like that in it. Apparently if you get distillate, and I have a contact for that now, it sounds very shady, it's not. Licensed contact. It has no terpenes, it's just pure THC, or it should be. At least that's what they're telling me. And then that means there'll be no flavors whatsoever, and you can make a dosable tincture with that. So there's a couple of different no, it's about how to make, I'm just talking briefly about, actually at great length, about my research into making THC-infused cocktails and how that's coming up in an episode. And so, yeah, that's a thing that I've been working on. And I feel like my research is good. Now it's just an issue of executing and coming up with the actual recipes to use. So, a Lafroig weed cocktail, no thanks. A cocktail with milk. Very quickly with a steam wand off an espresso machine by steaming milk and hash or extract. Once again, like, I don't like that idea because I feel like it's too, I really want to be able to say like a drop of this has X milligrams so that you can essentially make a mocktail and then say, I am adding exactly, or, you know, within, you know, a margin of error, 3 milligrams of THC to this. Like, that's my goal, or as close to that as possible. And so anything else, I feel like would be a bad approach. And it's crazy because, like, you know, being a novice to this, like, I'm trying to figure out, like, all right, well, I know what a tincture is, and I know what an extract is. An extract is a 1-to-1 extraction of your solute, and a tincture is some, and I forget if it's 20 or 50 dilution of that. You know, it's either 20% or 50% of a dilution of an extract. But, like, that is not the way the terminology gets thrown around by the industry of the weed. The guys got to get their language right, because, like, every fucking company and every fucking website I go to is just bananas. It's just like, well, a tincture means that it uses MCT oil, and an extract means it uses butane. Well, a tincture is, and it's, dude, this is not viable information, man. This is like really just shitty, actually. It's kind of a smoking jacket. It's kind of a smoking jacket. So, no, but weed science is not looser than actual science. It's actual science. It's real pharmacology. And so, like, it ain't good. It should be done better than that. And it can be done better than that. And I think that probably there are some companies that are doing a better job than that. But, like, it was very frustrating just trying to dip my toes in. I was like, oh, fuck, this information is just, like, shitty. It's just shitty information. It's pissing me off. Continental on SNL. Yes, that is exactly, thank you. Mwah! That is exactly what I'm going for. Would you like some more champagne? Oh. Welcome back, Hugh Hefner. So yeah, that's what I'm working on the mocktails, working on mixology is dead. It's crazy too, is the mocktails, the functional cocktails and the weed cocktails all came out of my idea for a Mixology is Dead episode. So I gotta take my Mixology is Dead research and jam it into one of those and actually make that thing. Weed is legal in New Jersey, yeah. We have dispensaries, they're crazy. They're like the fucking Apple store when you go into that place. I don't know, they're chained, so they're in other states where it's legal. Zen Leaf or whatever, it's bananas. And also, holy shit, man, they are doing business. Like, it's out of control. Turns out, being a drug dealer is a really good way to make a living. Whoa, who knew? So, working on those things. I have an episode that I want to shoot next week that I'm waiting on a couple of bottles to arrive for USSR Soviet cocktails. Soviet cocktails. I went down a rabbit hole researching Soviet cocktails, found some really cool information about that and recipes, and I'm going to recreate those recipes in a Soviet cocktails episode, and then there will also be a companion to that, Western Powers cocktails, and it'll be like a Cold War two-parter kind of thing. So that's a lot. Yeah, they do business, but they are way overpriced here in New Jersey. Really? I don't know, Connor. To me, the prices are fucking dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. A $30 jar of edibles lasts me like a month, man. Like, that's way cheaper than alcohol. Like, out of control cheaper. But I do read online, too, like reviews of this shit where it's like, I had 10 of these and I didn't feel anything. I'm like, dude, I don't know how. That's crazy. The range and tolerance that, like, I'm having literally a third of a 10 milligram edible and, like, just fucking time traveling, and people are eating 100 milligrams of edibles at a time. That's bananas. That is crazy. I also, too, if you look at the tincture, this is like when I talk about dosing, right? Like, if you look up, yeah, 200 milligrams, like 20 bucks. Yeah, it depends on what brand. It's about the same here. You know, 20 bucks, 15 bucks, 30 bucks, whatever. I don't know. You know, there's different prices. You also take meds, though. Yeah, but I'm not alone, Rachel. Like, my wife's with me, and we're both, she is not on the drugs. But you're old, that's why. Ah, stupid emoji. Okay, sure, whatever. Bro, stop saying that's crazy, that's bananas. Okay, that's weird. Why is this chat getting hostile? I don't like it. Hello, Summer. Summer, yeah, not Summer. Big fan of the channel. Anything East Coast is overpriced considering the quality of what's in the jar and is supposed to be safer. Okay, it's so weird. You guys are so hot. You're so heated up about the East Coast. You all hate the East Coast. Weed brought out the worst in you guys, right? East Coast, best coast. So, the great Garden State, I agree. So, yeah, I'm sorry, I totally lost my train of thought in the chat room there a little bit. What was I gonna say? Fuck. Yeah, fucking. Fuck. Oh, yeah. So if you, like, read the tinctures, like, reviews on websites and stuff like that, they're all like, it's good, did not get me high. It was a fine, did not get me high. Nullified pain, did not get me high. And I was just like, well, it's a dosing thing. Like, because if you read how to use it, it's like, put a drop under your tongue. Put 3 drops under your tongue. There's like 20 drops in a milliliter or something like that if you actually do the math on it and measure them out. So, I know, kava. You keep talking about kava. I gotta tell you, I don't even know what kava is. Full Vincent Price with the crow. I do have the cravat around here somewhere, but I'm not wearing it at the moment. So yeah, I mean, like, I would say, like, if you're not really thinking about, you know, content per milliliter, then of course it won't, you know? Like, you're not actually dosing properly. So I just think that's interesting, though. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, they're not talking about that. And it was like the same thing too, is like, I saw a video, it was like, you know, I was looking at what other people have done about this, and I looked for a bunch of other content, and also to see if it was being suppressed on YouTube. I don't think it is. But it was just like, somebody was like, how to make your green dragon. Oh, I don't know, you take some weed and you cover it in alcohol and let it sit for a month, and when you come back, it's ready to go. And like, no weights, no measures, no math, nothing. Just like, see what it does to you. And it's like, Jesus, whoa, you guys are fucking crazy. That is bananas. Oh, I'm not allowed to say that. Not allowed to say bananas. Ah, the fun police are in here. They don't want me to say bananas. Can you make a really good rum mix for us? A rum mix, I don't follow. So the pre-made THC cocktails at the Dispo are overpriced here. So and that's another thing too I want to talk about too, is like in New Jersey there are canned THC cocktails at liquor stores, but they're bullshit. They're bullshit. They're that Delta 8 stuff. They have nothing in them. Pot is fat soluble, not water, so drinks harder. It's yeah, Dale. It's not just fat soluble though. It's totally soluble in ethanol, and if you make an extract in ethanol, you can add that to a drink, and it's in there. It's solute. That's how extracts and things work. You take all kinds of things that aren't soluble in water, like juniper and angelica and all kinds of stuff, and you make extracts of them, and then you can dose them into other things. So you're good to go on that. That's like how all that shit works. If you put 2 milliliters of an extract into a shaker, shake it up, you're going to be fine. It's going to do the job. Okay. Yeah, brownies, sure. I think that's like a different situation though, because you're cooking. I don't know. If you're cooking stuff, it's different because your ethanol will evaporate, and I think it will carry out your THC too. A lot of people like to add alcohol to recipes, and if you think about it from a chemical standpoint, what you're adding, the reason you add alcohol to a baking or a cooking recipe is to add dryness to it, because you are adding flow, you're letting things move around, but as soon as it cooks, that comes out, whereas other liquids stay. Whereas fats don't disappear when they get heated. Ethanol has a evaporating point of 72 degrees Celsius, which is pretty fucking low. And so it's like a trick to actually dry out a recipe to add alcohol to it. Also, vodka sauce is bullshit. So vodka sauce is, I don't even know what the fuck the point of vodka sauce is. I have no idea. It's just, it's not. My weed edibles are illegal because I live in England. Does that stop me? Oi, oi, oi! So don't worry if people don't want you to say bananas. Say it anyway. Okay, I see how that, I see where you're coming from. Those are related topics. What in the fuck? So yeah, I got USSR cocktails. I've got THC cocktails. I'm thinking about the functional drinks. I'm thinking about non-alcoholic drinks. I'm thinking about Western Powers Cold War cocktails. That's like, what, 5 episodes right there that I'm working on. Also working on new idea, basic stuff, like the 5 vodka drinks you should know, the 5 gin drinks you should know. Just kind of putting out some baseline shit there. I'm probably going to shoot one of those this weekend as well. Man, we haven't made a single drink yet. Why don't we? So what I've got here, woo, is 2 really cool things. I made this with a Spinzall and I made this with a vacuum filter, which means you can just make it with filters but wait longer. This is strawberry vodka, and it is like strawberry vodka. It's vodka and strawberries, and it is fresh strawberries without any added sweetness, which is awesome because it lets us control our sweetness in our cocktail. This is cognac and 60% dark chocolate. And it's like one of my favorite things in the universe. It's so good. And it's easy as hell to make. This is why you should use Everclear to clean all your smoking devices, absolutely. Citric acid might work too. They're a solution of citric acid. I don't know, I haven't checked that out. Oh God, that's good. And these were made for the Aphrodisiacs episode. And this was made by taking chocolate and cognac, putting them in a blender, and then taking the chocolate back out. That's it. So good. The other one I had, which I'm out of, is fig rum. And that was mwah, divine. I don't really want to do that. I need my blender. I was thinking about making it in the stream. I really kind of can't. I need to get the blender out of the other room, and there's like a lot of machinery and stuff involved. It only takes like 20 minutes start to finish. It's really fast. It's just that the actual setting up is a pain in the ass, and it takes up a lot of room on the table here. So yeah, fig rum is really good. Use Eldorado 3-year right here. We could try. Let's see if that works. Oh shit, do I not have my juicer boy? I need my juicy boy. I think that's in the other room. I will have to go grab that. Stay tuned, gang. I'll try to keep whispering in your ear as I leave the room. Here we go. We're going to the kitchen, which is not in the How to Drink bar. We gotta go to the kitchen. I scared you? I'm sorry. We gotta get a funnel, because I got one. We want to get, that actually would be pretty handy to have too. We gotta get that. That'd be handy to have. But where's my juicer? Yeah, what's up? What are you looking for? The Play-Doh? The Play-Doh? I don't know where it is. I also don't know where my juicer is. The Play-Doh shaver? What is a Play-Doh shaver? I gotta tell you, hon, I don't know what it is. And your mom's around here somewhere. She can help me. It's a haircut shaver. Oh, like a buzz cutter? She knows where it is. Looks like it's in her hand, maybe. All right, now I can come back here. Oh, god damn it, my juicer was right there this whole time. That was fun. Talking to my kid there. Someone just called me a breeder? Wow. Man, there's some real fuck-ups in the chat today. Holy shit. Neat. There was static? Oh, sorry about that. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. It might have been, it might have not actually been this. It could have been this. It could have also been the range, although that's never been an issue before. So, apologize. I apologize. Okay, good to know. Being called a breeder is endearing. It is actually a derogatory term created by the gay community, but I think that the times have moved on. That was a long time ago. But, you know, they got to strike back. We had so many words for them in the 90s and 80s that they would call us breeders. And now they're breeders, too. Just ask Meredith. It's an incel thing now, too. Oh, gross. Ew. Incels are the worst. I am very worried about the anti-fun brigade and the young people. That's actually what my Mixology Dead episode was about. I'm worried about that. I don't like the anti-fun brigade. I think that's a dangerous scenario for the world. We do not want young people to be anti-fun. I want you out there squirting DNA at each other all the time and getting fucked up. That's what the world needs. I need the young people to be fucking, and the old people to be fucking. Let's see if we can fire this son of a bitch up. Yeah, that's fine. Run it! Okay. Bip it in. So, here we go. We're gonna make a drink. Too many cameras? No way, baby. We're gonna rock and roll. 2 ounces of, not fun of being called a breather either. Sounds like jealousy. Cheers. Nah, let's drop it, guys. 2 ounces of my delicious Eldorado 3-year rum. This will definitely not be quite the same as what we had yesterday. Flavor-wise, it will be, but like visually, it will not be. We're gonna do 1 ounce, or a little shy of an ounce of simple. Call it 3/4. What's the most hilarious way to represent a valid point? I don't know what you just said. I'm sorry. That panning dough. Yeah, you like that. Pod by the Breeders is a great album. Yeah, it is, actually. You know what song was stuck in my head, which feels relevant to the Breeders, was the cover that the Slits did of Heard It Through the Grapevine. Great cover. Thought I'd be into the band. I'm not. It was one of those. It was like, oh, cool, 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 cool. Like no wave art music. Yeah, okay. What episode made me the most drunk? Well, I mean, the answer there is unequivocally 1 ounce of lime juice, by the way. We're just making a daiquiri. Unequivocally, the episode, what do you call that? Manhattan Matrix. That one done fucked me up. Dangerously so. I'm gonna take a fig and I'm gonna slice it all up. I probably don't need to slice it off, but we're just gonna do it anyway. And then I'm gonna throw that into my shaker. And I probably should add the lime juice that I made. And we're gonna get some ice. I really wish I could figure out a way to keep my ice freezer within reach, but I was looking at it today and I cannot square that circle. Ah! Hey gang, do you know about the HTD app? Some of you might be using my show as your own personal cocktail guide, making drinks from the show, looking it up at your phone when you're standing at your home bar or in your kitchen trying to make yourself a Mai Tai or whatever, and you say, how did Greg make that Mai Tai? I'm flattered, by the way. I think this is fantastic. And you go to the YouTube channel and you got to find it and everything like that. It's a pain in the ass. Well, what if you had an app? What if you went to htdapp.com right now and you got access to it through Patreon? Because then you could save all of your favorite drinks from the show and find them and search them and doing all kinds of cool things with that. And you could actually save my life. you could let this show thrive. I need a glass. And I have glasses, I just don't really love them. No, that one's dirty actually. Shiad, where's my glassware? I got glasses. Yeah, check it out, htdapp.com. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but USAID just got destroyed. And as a result, my grant doesn't exist. No, it's not true. I don't have any money from the government. That's actually usually the joke, is that like NPR or like WNYC, I get no funding from the federal government, despite what you think, which is true. But I almost made that joke in a recent episode, and I realized nobody gets money from the federal government anymore. We just decided to stop doing that. I don't know, Joel. I'm okay with my UX and UI design, but it's a cool idea. I'd like to have some other people work on that. I mean, they do. In the Discord, I've gotten a lot of help from Discord. A lot of help in our private patron-only Discord, which you would have access to if you had a second strainer, if you were a member of my Patreon. Just so you know, I'm not out here for my health. I do this for money. Yeah, nowhere near. It's just nowhere near. It's nowhere. The color of this fig, I'm serious. It's neon red. I might have a few drops left. It's not good to drink, except that it's good to drink. It's good to drink. Are you a member of the Anti-Fun Brigade? We can't have that. The world is a dangerous place when anti-fun brigades take hold of the youth. It's fine for old people to go anti-fun. It's very bad when young people do. Terrible things happen all over the place. How else is going to pay for Play-Doh shavers? Hey, man. You know, 4-year-olds, their priorities are different. She's also got a terrible cold right now. It's actually pretty good. Despite not being nearly as color, it is figgy. It's delicious. It's so fucking good, man. It's terrible for all people to drink, says Beckett. I guess lots of things are unhealthy for you. You know, this is like a weird topic. Every day of your life, you are self-medicating. One way or another, you are doing something that helps you get through and makes it more bearable and makes you have fun. I didn't need to muddle the fig because there was so much ice in there beating the shit out of it. Probably wouldn't have been a bad idea, but it just seemed like unnecessary. I cut it open and I cut it open and put it all in there, and the ice beat it out of it. So anyway, and for a lot of people, alcohol is a terrible medicine. It is not a good medicine for them. And I use that term in like the medicine man sense, right? For some people, marijuana is a bad medicine. Believe it or not, I think for some people, heroin is a good medicine. The smaller portion of the population, it's probably not worth, I mean, I'm not pro heroin. I'm just saying that like, you have to figure out, hopefully you will figure out what is the right medicine for you. That you can manage, that is not gonna cause more problems in your life, more harm in your life than good. And that's how you gotta do it, man. I don't know, that's just my philosophy on that. So anyway, there it is, the fig daiquiri. It's delicious. Legalized meth. I wouldn't do that. Living is hard. Why should I judge others for doing what they need to do to get through? Harm reduction, folks. I just think pleasure maximization. I don't even think of harm reduction. I'm a total hedonist. That's my philosophy. I'm a materialist and a hedonist, right? That's, and also, I guess you'd say an existentialist or perhaps even a optimistic nihilist, whatever. But, you know, I feel like basically the height of your possible existence is to be sitting on a sick fucking beach, watching the most gorgeous sunset you can imagine, and drinking a Mai Tai. I think that's what it's all about. And then going back to the bedroom afterwards. That's it, man. That's as good as it gets. A few other things that rank, but you know. I hear about people wanting to leave legacies or industry or worrying about human progress and shit. Man, I think, why? Why? By chance, is your second camera different on a different white balance? Your main looks more warmer. It might be. No, they're both daylight balanced. It's, you know what it is though, the lighting is different. So, you guys want to get into it. This light is, my key light up here is a touch warmer than my fill light is to set up kind of a contrast. And I just really tweaked that a little bit recently. And then also I think that my key light is warmer than this spotlight back here. So essentially, by virtue of the different angle here, our close-up camera is kind of living in a slightly different world. Fine, Greg, don't leave a legacy, but at least leave your kids a golden toilet on the shelf there. Sure. I think it's totally reasonably concerned for the children. I think that it would be impossible to feel good while you are not doing good by others. I don't know how you can pursue a hedonistic lifestyle without considering the consequences of your actions. Those two things are, the idea of separating those is incompatible for me. So when I say I'm for hedonism, I'm for feeling good. I'm for all aspects of that. Like, that all works together. You're late, Dark Angel. What I'm drinking right now is a fig daiquiri. Now, this fig daiquiri is just about as tasty as the one I made the other day. However, it is less colorful. Let me see if I have any of that sweet fig nectar left. No, I don't. I used it all up. Damn. It was so good. So good. I have to do another batch, but it's not going to be the purview of this stream. As a younger person, no, we do not want Bitcoin. I don't think you have to worry a huge amount. Sadism, I think, describes hedonism without regard for others. Ooh, bravo, Connor, bravo. I'll drink to that. But I don't mind a little sadism in my life either. But, so, please make Coca-Colas, says Beckett Clark. Hard to do right now. I don't have the equipment to do it, but it's something I can do. Not a fan of alcohol because trauma, but I'd never police someone else's consumption of it as long as they aren't harming someone else like Dewey. Yeah, that's bad. Just love watching HTD because of Greg's know-how. Lol. I got you fooled. I don't know how to do shit. And thank you, Rocave. Oh, man. Oh, man, this is fun. Rocave Kurgalsa Evrenler. I don't know. Try 1040. What is that? Where are you from? Thank you, by the way. That is awesome. Have you ever looked at other drinking cultures. I want to drink like the Italians. A little bit. It's not the most exciting content for the show. Like, Turkish is hard, I know. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, V-E in Turkish. Wow, that's not a, what's the word I'm looking here? I wouldn't expect to see V-E in Turkish, but I also bet Turkish is Turkish use a different character set? Is V-E, like, it does not use a phonetic character set or a Latin character set, but you're stuck typing in one? I don't know, I'm just curious. V-E strikes me, is it V? Is it V in Turkish? Oh, it could be V, yeah. Sorry, grandson of a linguist, I think about this. Do I have a favorite Amaro? Yeah, I might, but I almost never use it on the show. Chiaro. I have a little bottle right here. I love Chiaro. And actually, somebody was talking about Coca-Cola. I used to take Chiaro. Hold on a second, I have to step off camera here. Some club soda. I have a kegerator, and I use it principally to make soda. Like, I mean, carbonated water. So I'm pulling a glass of soda from it right now. And a little Chiaro. And maybe a dash of Ango. Are we still in close-up world? We should be. That's much more fun, right? Yeah, a little of that, and maybe like a drop of simple syrup. And I would call it a grown-up Coca-Cola, because I kind of felt like it was leaning into that direction a touch. Which is funny, I forget who it was. I think it was Darcy O'Neill, who was like, hey, what's the most popular Amaro in the world? And it was a trick question. It's Coca-Cola, because Coca-Cola is an Amaro. It does look like gold. I haven't made one of these in a long while, so my ratios might be a little weird. Cheers. Should you cut down the ratio when using 100 proof options? That is tasty. I revised my statement. I don't know why I thought it tasted. It does. I don't know. It's not like Coca-Cola. It's missing some citrus notes. What if we added a little orange bitters? That pushes it over there. Anyway, you know, 100 proof? You mean 50% ABV? No, because you're talking about a 10% difference. I mean, if you wanted to, you can, but frankly, I wouldn't. And truth be told, like traditionally, 50% is what alcohol should be, historically. Like that is proof. For a drink, for a spirit to be of proof, it would be about 50%, or maybe even above 50%. Proof was just proof that it was alcohol and that it would burn. Technically, like the term comes from, I think, from this is what I've been told, soaking gunpowder in that spirit and trying to set it on fire. If it burned, it was proof. That was proof it was alcohol. The whole 40% thing, that comes about because like that's the least that it can be by law. If they could sell you less, i.e., if they could step on their drugs harder and sell it to you on the street, they would. But the law says they can't step on that shit no harder than that. They can't cut their Peruvian white any deeper, so they don't. Thank you, Jackal Reeves. You should do a rainbow night starting at 1 end of the spectra. Okay, people of my generation. Raise your hand if you remember what a rainbow party is, a la Sally Jesse Raphael, because that's what I thought of. I was like, rainbow night, holy shit. Love the red robe, thank you. Do you have a favorite rye? Well, the one that is long cited as the rye for mixing is Rittenhouse Bottled in Bond. And it's affordable and it mixes really, really well. Hey-yo, says Irby Gerbies. They weren't a real thing until Sally made them a thing. Exactly, Noodle. Exactly. And to Sally, I say, thank you. The thing I was never invited to because it didn't exist. Just like Jenkum. Oh my God, Jenkum, yeah. The original like troll meme. How does Bullet Bourbon measure up for you? Bullet is a complicated little fucker. Bullet, if I'm not mistaken, is actually MGP, and you can get MGP from a bunch of different bourbon manufacturers, and just whoever's selling the cheapest MGP in your area is where you should buy your MGP. Is this the actual Aphrodisiac episode? It is not, Irby, and you should know that because you have access to it through the Patreon, which everybody else can get access to by clicking on the link in the pinned comment below or in the description of the video where it says go to htdapp.com and sign up for the Patreon. You'll get access to the nearly hour-long Aphrodisiac Cocktails episode that was just too deep for the regular audience. Another thing I'm going to come up with is going to be I'll do another Aphrodisiac Cocktails episode down the road. This is awful to say, but true, and I'll only say it on a live stream. I have not really been using Rittenhouse on the show very much because it was really bringing out the chuds in the comments. So I don't name it anymore. I'll just say I'm using some rye. So another thing I want to do today, and I don't even know if this is going to go well or not, is make bitters. I need a juniper bitters for this Soviet cocktails episode that I want to do. I don't know. They don't really seem to exist. But by luck, I happened to have made a juniper extract not very long ago, just on a whim. Actually, not just on a whim. I was going to use it to make an episode of I forget what the drink was. Oh, highest proof cocktails. And in that episode, which was based off of the HTD app having bad information at that time on what my highest proof cocktails on the show ever were, but it was fun anyway. Anyway, ooh, this sealed itself tight. I was going to use it to make a drink that I had made on the show a really long time ago called Victory Gin Martini, pulled from 1984. So I happened to have been making a lot of bittering agents into extracts for a project I'm working on. So I've got some Angelica, bitter orange peel, and I have some gentian that I grabbed. And I have this juniper extract. And I actually think what we're probably going to end up doing too is using some Angostura. Like, we can use that as a jumping off point. So there we go. I have not tried Anders Ericsson's. That dropper of this stuff is a lot. And like, it just, wow, man, that is potent. Like, the room is on fire with juniper as soon as I put that out there. I am going to add, I don't know. Let's see what we get here. Can I snake that out? No. Watch your ears, guys. This is going to get a little bit loud for a second. Okay. I'm just going to pour out a little Ango. Cover that. Put the cap back on. And we're going to add like 2 mils of Ango to that. I could probably add a lot more Angostura, in fact. Why don't we just add the whole fucking thing in there? And then we'll work our other ingredients to that. Whatever that was, we put that in there. And then I need a clean glass of seltzer to test this in. Man, that Chiaro is tasty. Okay, let's just see how that is. Well, the whole thing is that I'm using Angostura as kind of a base here. That's juniper as hell. That's probably enough. I probably don't need to fuck with that anymore. Maybe I can make it a little bit more junipery. I don't want Angelica at all. Where did I put the juniper? There it is. And of course I can always thin it back out with Angostura. I'm just kind of doctoring up some juniper bitters because I happen to need them for the show. That'll work. That'll work. Done. Problem solved. Back to my daiquiri. How's your afternoon? It's an evening. It's 5:30. Is mixology technically chemistry in some way? It is, but most practitioners don't have an awareness of the chemistry, and neither do I, honestly. Speaking of Soviet cocktails, are you getting classic Soviet sodas? Talk about Baikal and Tarkun. I'm not. I wasn't planning on it, but I think that sounds like a great idea for a follow-up. I think that the Soviet thing, history stuff, is good content. And this is off, like, so here's, I want to talk about YouTuber head. I think about how many value propositions a thing is. Can Soviet cocktails and Soviet soft drinks be separate value propositions? Could they be different titles and thumbnails? The answer is yes, therefore they become separate episodes. Checking in to see if there was some robe action happening. Benjamin Wood has the wood. Unrelated cocktail question. What's your favorite film? Oh, Sunset Boulevard. My default answer for that is Sunset Boulevard, so I always say that. The podcast is ongoing. Meredith and I meant to record this week, but I fell way behind on a bunch of things. Rob gives me €2. Just made a Mr. Prado, and it's very good. Thank you. When did I make a drink called a Mr. Prado? The app told me that I've made something in the order of 1,400 drinks for the show, so I don't remember them. Delicious irony, figuring out the best way to monetize the Soviet theme. The history of Soviet cocktails is fascinating because the Soviet Union had multiple flirtations with Prohibition, which I did not know. So that was a really interesting piece of information to acquire. Well, we said something about doing a Tom Lair drink. By the way, if you've ever purchased 100% cacao chocolate, it's brutal. I love Gold Diggers of 33, but when people press me for my favorite, The Third Man, neat choice. Sex Panther, obviously, Justin. Woo! It doesn't even taste like chocolate at that point. Favorite Star Wars thing? Oh, that's cool. Obviously, the answer is Empire Strikes Back. I really liked, my whole family did, Skeleton Crew. In fact, I might have liked it even more. I am not a fan of any of the Star Wars stuff lately, except for Andor and Skeleton Crew. Both really good. Maybe it's normal that chocolate that doesn't taste like chocolate. It tastes like charcoal, exactly. Ooh, Double Indemnity is a good choice too, yeah. Does anyone else like caipirinhas? I love caipirinhas. It's my favorite drink. Well, it's not my favorite drink, but it's so high on the list. Skeleton Crew is great if you have kids. If you have kids. You're a normal Star Wars fan then. No, I'm a like early millennial. I'm an old millennial Star Wars fan because I don't like any of. I always want to say Nathan Fillion, but that's that actor, that hunky man actor. But it's like a similar name. I don't like any of the things that he touched. I don't like any of them. I've never had a Caesar, but I know I wouldn't like it. Yeah, I didn't say that you wouldn't enjoy it without kids. I was just saying you'll really like it with kids. So I got to rewatch Rogue One. I fell asleep. I just haven't had a chance to look at it. Filoni, thank you. Yeah, I don't like any of his stuff. I don't like it. I think it's poop. I'm sorry. Favorite action movie or a top 3? I guess I could revisit Fury Road. I was not thrilled with Fury Road, largely because it was billed as a sequel and because of the lies about it having no CGI in it. Both of those things really pissed me off. It was not a sequel, it was a reboot. It had no resemblance at all to the earlier Mad Max films. And There was lots of computer stuff in that movie. So, my favorite action movie. It's funny, I don't really think of action movies as like a genre. And if I do, it's a very specific genre, and those movies are all bad. Well, I disagree with that, Whiskey. I disagree with that. There's a really specific, I mean, there is a progression and actually a timeline between the original 3 films. It's fine that it's become a mythology or really an anthology and not a direct series, but it was definitely a direct series. I've always dug the idea that none of the Mad Max films adhere to any real continuity. They're wasteland legends, except for the fact that the first movie doesn't even take place in a wasteland. Yeah, Fury Road is not marketed as that. Is marketed. I think that if Fury Road had just been a different movie, I would have been like, this is crazy. This is pretty cool stuff. But I went in there expecting it to be a sequel to Mad Max, and it was not. So that kind of bummed me out. Best horror movie. Ooh. All right, that's easy. My favorite horror movie is definitely Return of the Living Dead. I fucking love that movie so much. So much. I think that's in my top 10 movies of all time. Okay, LaDraco. I don't give a shit about your opinion about fuck all anyway. What do you think of that? Evil Dead. I like Evil Dead. I grew up with Evil Dead. Evil Dead is nowhere near the quality of film that Return of the Living Dead is. Return of the Living Dead, it is a black comedy, but it is so also, it's one of the scariest and darkest horror movies I've ever seen, while also being one of the funniest. It's super good. It happens to, and I didn't know this, like when I fell in love with it, I didn't know this, but what has happened is that I've realized, oh, I like everything that guy made. It happens to have been written by, oh God, what's his name? Dan O'Bannon. And it turns out I just like everything Dan O'Bannon touched. So, Dan O'Bannon is phenomenal. He is magic. Really love Return of the Living Dead. That movie is so good. Murder Party. No, I never got into that one. The Thing and Alien, both really good movies. I can't argue with those at all. Phenomenal. Best drink from a movie. Huh. My favorite H.P. Lovecraft inspired movie. Color Out of Space. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird movie for me. I don't know that that's such a, man, H.P. Lovecraft inspired? Like, that's a lot of movies, but I think you mean kind of pulled directly out of the stuff. Did not like Beyond the Black Rainbow in the slightest. In the Mouth of Madness is a good actual choice actually there for Lovecraft. Wait, Reanimator was Lovecraft? Yes, absolutely. Although the short story Reanimator has like almost no resemblance whatsoever to the film Reanimator. Like, they are a bajillion miles away from each other. The short story has like a lot to do with refrigeration and ammonia evaporators and being afraid of them. It's weird. Not the Quagmire Robes. Yeah. Which Evil Dead is best to you? Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 2 for sure. Which is a remake of Evil Dead 1, by and large. Alien over Aliens, totally different movies. Come on, man. All right, we were talking about Brian Layer drinks. Let's make a Werner von Braun. Once the rockets go up, who cares where they go down? Hey, you know who reminds me of Werner von Braun lately? Elon Musk. They both love rockets. They both love iconic hand gestures. Anyway, let's think about what Werner von Braun would drink. Well, let's think. Do I have any schnapps? I don't really have any schnapps. I have some Schlivovitz. Yeah, I mean, like, he liked slaves from there. Let's see here. Well, I'm pretty sure we're going to have to use some Fernet Branca, because if he hadn't been paper clipped up, he almost certainly would have run down to Argentina. Werner actually knew how to build a rocket, though. Yeah, that's true. Let's see here. And while he's in Argentina, he might have had some... well, you know, Argentina is south of the border. I mean, they have all kinds of spirits down there. What is like the... I can't think of another thing associated with Argentina other than Fernet Branca. But surely they have rum and cachaça and aguardiente. Let's see here. I'm looking at my rum. Okay, let's say we have some probitas, which is a gassy kind of rum. It's not... I'm looking for a bottle of cachaça, but I might be out of cachaça. So we'll go with probitas. It's a little bit gassy. I like that. And Werner would have a rocket fuel. Yeah. We'll call this drink a rocket fuel. And he is learning Chinese. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, cachaça. I don't have a bottle of cachaça. I do have some... Yeah, this agricole is super close to a cachaça. Any agricole is pretty close to a cachaça. We need citrus. We have limes. We have... I mean, we're almost there at this point, as it is. Oh! What if it was a variation on an El Presidente called the Der Fuhrer? How about that? So we're gonna need... we're gonna need some Lillet Blanc. We'll call it Werner's Boss. Werner's First Boss. We'll call it that because we don't want to say that word. And God dang doodly do, I think we're there. I think we've got it. I think this is a cocktail. I think we've got a drink over here. You can't say that. Yeah, I can. I can say whatever the fuck I want. I don't have to get, you know, I might lose money over it. But boy, you know what? One thing about me, I fucking love money. Oh, I love it. It's so good. Money. It's so good. Okay. So, let's see here. How is this? A Schickelgruber? Yeah. You walked into me making a drink in honor of Werner von Braun. A man whose allegiances are dictated by conveniences. Yeah, well, you gotta test spirits. I mean, my nips are small. You baited me into that. You baited me. You done dang darn it. I walked right into that. I did too. It's true. My tiny little nips, and they are. But yeah, I'm trying to decide if I want to use this or the probitas. Have I ever seen October Sky? I may have once upon a time. I want to do Perca-Cola Part 2. No, here's the thing, Commandant Laz. Commandant. That made me think of their commissar. I made it. I made that episode, but nobody watched it. In fact, here they are. Flopper, Deadshot. I think the other ones are over here. We got Electric Cherry, and I believe Mule Kick was from that run as well. So I did it. Got terrible views. So if you want to check it out, go check it out. I was not really big on Wolfenstein. Oh wait, you're talking about like modern Wolfenstein? Yeah. I was more of a Doom kid than a Wolfenstein kid. It's just better. It's just better. All right, so we're not going to use this. We're going to use this. We're gonna go rinse this guy out in the How to Drink sink. Oh, what a happy day, Kaloo-Kalay. We've got to sing. La-di-da-di-di. So, bring in the close-up. There we go. Hi. So we want 2 ounces of probitas. Oh, stupid 90s movies. You know what my wife and I just watched? We just watched, and it'll probably wind up on the pod at some point, Tammy and the T-Rex. There you go. Hell yeah. We're going to do 1.5 ounces of Probitus, or thereabouts. We're going to do... I got to see here now. That's our rum base. We want to take this a little bit of a step away from... I wish I had a Riesling that would be appropriate. Or like a... Yeah, nah, I mean, but such a thing does not exist. But you know what might be cool with this, actually? Hold on a second. Kirschwasser. Yeah. Why not have some Kirschwasser? Here we are. Yeah. Replace our Lillet with some... Oh, I haven't even opened this bottle. Kirsch. Do you know that Attack of the Killer Tomatoes was a cartoon as well? That like somehow Troma made a Saturday morning cartoon out of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and that I grew up with it for a couple of years earlier. It's weird shit. Tammy and the T-Rex is wonderful. You have to watch the director's cut though, which calls it Tanny and the Teenage T-Rex because it's got all the gore in it. So we're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of Kirsch. We're going to do 2 dashes of Fernet, which I actually put into a dasher bottle finally. So we got bitter, we got cherry. We're going to do a little grenadine. Mine went bad, so I dug out Liber & Company's that they sent me because they're lovely people. We're going to do a bit more than you normally do. We're going to do just shy of 1/2 ounce because this drink will be undersweet without it. And we still might throw a little Lillet in there. Let's test this. Does Kirsch have a mint note? I don't know. That's a good question. It might. You are crazy. It does not. Okay, that's pretty cool. While you stir this drink, you must think of the fine ladies who owe their pensions and disability to Wena von Braun. It's funny, when I grew up, I did kind of not know, like, you know, obviously none of us knew that history. I just knew, oh my God, the rocket guy, he's awesome. We don't need to add any more to this. I don't have any aguardiente. So if you like the movies that I like, and honestly, going forward, this is basically the rule for Midnight Local. Get yourself a subscription to Night Flight Plus, because basically I've finally convinced Meredith, hooray for me, to just do Night Flight Plus movies on Midnight Local. Oh, that bar spoon, that's from, what's that company? Cocktail Kingdom. Yeah, that was the last time I ordered a bar spoon from them. That's what they looked like. Unless, did I use this one? This one may not be Cocktail Kingdom. I kind of, at one point I had so many. And I had to clean house a little bit. Do I have an orange? I don't. Shite. Scheiße. No, maybe this lemon, maybe. Okay, looks like we're gonna maybe use a lemon, but I'm gonna pull it and see if it makes any sense in this drink. Some kind of funk in there, whatever. Here we go, this is a Von Braun. That flies. Ooh, oh man! Dr. Braun, oh, I like it, I like it. Oh, it has, like notes of rocket fuel in a pleasant way for me. If you like cachaça, you'll like that drink. Not because it tastes like cachaça, but because you are like inured to that flavor profile. It's a little fumy, balanced, just a very subtle hint of bitterness, dry, bone dry cherry notes. I really like this drink quite a bit. We can call it a Werner von Braun. We can call it a Schnickelgrube. We can call it a, what was it, Barbarossa or Odessa? What was the project to escape the Nazis? Oh, we'll just call it a paperclip. This is a paperclip. We'll call it a paperclip. There you go. That's the least fucked up version of a name for that drink. No, paperclip was the one where we took them. That was the American project to take the Nazis. There was a post-war Nazi project to escape the Nazis. And that's how they wound up in Argentina. And I forget if that was Odessa or Barbarossa or something else, but there was a name for it. Barbarossa, it might have been. How does the hand camera move? It's on a machine. It's on a slider. It's on a motor-controlled slider, and I can program it. And I can't show you my monitor here, but I have it running on a loop right now. But I can kind of program it. I think you can see it at the moment to like do anything I want. I can. Oh no, here's my controls. I can bring it down. I can bring it up. I can set keyframes. I have all kinds of neat things. I can just do whatever I want with it. It's motion control. So it's on a Kessler cinema slider with a bunch of other things. So it was a pandemic requirement because prior to the pandemic, my show was shot by a very large crew. I had 6 or 7 people that I would hire to help me make the show. And then, you know, it was like we were about to shoot and I had to cancel the shoot and reinvent the show with motion control systems so that I could keep making the show. It was necessary. Barbarossa, yeah, it was Odessa. It was Project Odessa. Damn, AI got their jobs. No, I mean, unless I'm artificially intelligent. And it wasn't their job. I mean, they were freelancers, so it was like they were on that one. There were people I knew that I had worked with on, you know, in film, in commercials and stuff, because that's what I used to do. And they, you know, you hire them for a few days, it's freelance work, and then they go away. In fact, when we canceled that shoot, I paid everybody a kill fee, which was crazy, because like I'm a tiny little, you know, independent thing. And we had no agreement that said I owed them a kill fee or anything like that. I feel weird about trotting that out. I've never brought that up before, but it was just like we, you know, whatevs. By the way, if you're interested in it, a really good TV show that just did its 4th season like last year, and you'll need a weird streaming service to get access to it, is Babylon Berlin. Stupid good. Crazy fun show, but also like will make you Google like, wait, is that real? Like 10 times an episode and you'll find out, oh, it was. It's a noir detective show set in Weimar, Germany. So good. Really love it. And I hope you go see it. Babylon Berlin is on YouTube for free. Oh, the movie Come and See. It's not on Netflix. It was, but it's not anymore. It's now on something called Megahertz, which is a streaming service for German media. And you can find it on, Megahertz is like inside of Prime, I think, inside of Prime Video. It's apparently based on a series of novels that I have read reviews of, and they say they're very bad novels, but the show is really good. And you should watch it with the subtitles. The dubbing is maybe the worst dubbing I've ever seen in my life. I have not seen From, and I don't like Lost. So, Russian Doll is good. That thumbnail, yeah, baby, that's right, that thumbnail. Yeah. So why don't we talk a little bit about the HTD app? Why don't you check this fucking bad boy out? Look at the glory of the HTD app. You see as it slowly loads. HTDapp.com, and you can you can find things by drinks. Oh, hold on a second. Which one are you? You're in my way. We can't have this. Which one are you? This one? Oh yeah, we can't have you. You can look by drinks or episodes, and if you go to drinks, probably my previous search criteria are still in there. Yeah, clear all. And you can find all like 1,400 or something drinks that I've done on the show. You can save your faves. You can go into like durian sour, add it to your keeper, and then it'll be back to drinks. And then if you go to hit, instead of all, hit faves, it'll show you just the ones that you've kept. Oh, that's all cleared out. So you can just keep your short list of your favorite drinks, easy to get. Go to htdapp.com. Greg, tell me when Patreon level pins happen. Well, we do pins on the Patreon. We have to modify how we're doing them because shipping costs have actually now exceeded the value of pin membership. So it's crazy how expensive those are to send. It's crazy. And we've tried to skin that cat as many ways as possible. So we were doing pins like quarterly, and I think we got a quarterly pin coming out now. But after that, we're gonna probably increase the number of pins you'll get, but you'll get them once a year. Because the pins themselves are affordable. It's the shipping them that's outrageous. We just can't, and I may even depreciate the pin membership thing so that it's like the people who are in stay in, but that we maybe don't even accept more people. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that yet. So check out the HTD app because it is the best way to use How to Drink as your own personal cocktail guide. Look, you can, well, my phone sucks. My phone is so broken. The only reason it's in this case, oh, it's clear all. It's because I'm switched to faves. The only reason it's in this case is because the entire back is shattered. In fact, if you look right here, you can see a piece of the shattering around the lenses. This phone basically detonated, and I can't afford to replace it. But you can go to Media Adapted From and see the stuff I made from any of these movies or TV shows or video games. One of the things I have to do next time I sit down and do any coding is I have to add like a search bar to these because it's too much. We have tags. In fact, I just created a new tag for sexy so that people can find all the sexy Aphrodisiac Valentine's Day cocktails that I've done on the show. You can sort by alphabet or by ABV. And you can make your tags and things or rather like you could be, I'm looking for ingredients gin or rum, or a drink that has both, you switch over to and instead of or. It's pretty functional, it works. It's not perfect because I made it and because I'm not a programmer, and Meredith and I are manually updating the data set to finish that and make it clean and accurate. So you'll find flaws in there, but it does work, and I'm very, very proud of it. It fucking damn near killed me. But now I'm getting pretty good at this. I am aware that Mixel exists, and I looked at it once, but it doesn't contain mocktails because I haven't made mocktails. It's just the drinks I've made on the show. So when I do a mocktail episode, yes, those will be in there. Greg has renewed my love of casual drinking. Thank you. You know something? You may have cause to casually drink more often as we proceed into the next 4 years and beyond. And I just want you to know that How to Drink will be here for you, whatever may come. I promise not to make the show political. No, really, though, I don't. I do. I do have an ascot. I don't know where. I put it down somewhere. Don't worry about my ascot. Don't worry about my ascot. But like, yeah, I don't know, man. There you go. Woo! what else should we do? Because I've been standing here yamma jamming and drinky dinky duking for a while. We got quite a few of us have shown up now. We're up to 567 people. Maybe get an HTD recipe book added to the Mixel. No, because HTD app is an exclusive benefit for members of my Patreon, whom I bluntly neglected for much too long. So if you want it, you got to get on the Patreon, and I don't even care. I am a slut. I mean, I'm a whore. I'm here for the money. So, if that's a problem for you, whatever. Blow it out your ass. I don't give a shit. Yep. Oh, is anybody watching Severance? I forgot about this. I'm working on a Severance cocktails episode. That's the whole thing I'm doing on too. Working hard for the money. She works hard for the money, so you better treat her right. Oh, we were talking about making it a little moodier in here for the lighting. Severance. That show is so good. No spoilers in the chat. You do have to watch it. It's so good. So let's see here. We'll double this scene. And now we'll make a version that's a little bit more moody. We'll drop out the fill. Let's lose some fill light. Ooh. Just a hint. Just a touch of that fill light. And we'll take down our key light. Just make it a little moodier in there. And we'll take that key light and we'll warm it way up. Oh yeah, steamy. But then we'll take our fill light and we'll cool it way down. And we'll bring it back up a little bit. There we go. Oh, baby. And then we'll take my soft hair light, lose it entirely, and we'll hard light my hair. If I can find that bar back beam. Ooh, what do you think of that? And then we'll take a little bit of my atmosphere aerosol and we'll just steam it on up in here. This is like for photography. It's basically when you don't want to have a smoke machine or something. Welcome to How to Drink. What should we drink next, ladies and gentlemen? The haze really looks good here because you get like this beam coming in from behind. I gotta be careful though because it will set off a smoke alarm. I've seen some shorts from Mr. In Between, and it's cool. I did a Peaky Blinders sponsored episode, actually, many years ago. I only watched the first season of that. I didn't really get caught into that show. The amount of gizmos and gadgets you have in your possession is pretty extravagant. Dude, I've been making this show for a long... We're coming up on my 10th anniversary, so it's built out gradually. Poisoning pigeons in the park. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of got to take a leak. That's what's got to happen here. I got to take a leak. I don't know. I kind of like this lighting. I might switch the whole show over to this look. A peanut-heavy improved whiskey cocktail. Do a tariff-free Canada-inspired drink. Greg, do you ever get recognized in public? I do. I get recognized more than people are willing to approach me because I can sometimes out of the corner of my eye catch them like give me the look or whispering to each other like, I swear that's him, that's that guy. When I go to Disney, I usually get approached by a number of people. When I'm on my A game, I carry some HTD pins with me to hand out when that happens. It's very, very nice to be recognized. I like it. I was very awkward at it the first few times it happens. I've gotten better at it. So, the lighting is very intimate. Ooh. That key light might be a little too warm, though. That's my only thought right now. I'm going to take that down. There we go. Yeah, my lighting control system is all DMX based, so I have 3 sets in this studio. They're all DMX'd up. And then my office also can be run on DMX as well, but I'm not currently using that. Favorite drink at Disney World or Trader Sam's? Well, at Trader Sam's, I love their Hippopotamus Mai Tai, and I love their, I like the Oa a lot. It's super fun and tasty. Those are my 2 faves there. I like the Nautilus. Shout out to Diz, captain of the bar there, head skipper, cool guy, friend of the show. DMX, let's go! Yeah, I don't know what DMX stands for, but it's a theatrical lighting control system. Favorite drink at Walt Disney World? Definitely at Trader Sam's. But they're good place. I did a whole episode reviewing all the cocktails at Disney World, and I talked about the good places to drink in that episode, and you should check it out. You should check it out. Hello, Greg. Hope you're doing well. Can you tell us about your time as a parachutist in the military? Ooh, I can. Do I have drinks inspired by that time? I haven't thought about that. Well, my parachuting in the military lasted for 5 jumps. Digital multiplex. Thank you, Nolan. So I was a very short-lived parachutist. In the year 2001, I enlisted as an 11 Bravo Papa unassigned, which is airborne infantry. And then at some point in basic, I guess because I scored well on something or other, they added a 2 Charlie to my name. So I was supposed to be a javelineer. And after OSIT, I went to javelin school. And that was really funny because the javelin instructor was like, this class is too full. Raise your hand if you're infantry. And we raised our hands and he said, come with me outside. And he said, here's the fucking missile. It comes with instructions. You fired toes and shit, right? Okay, this is how it works, man. You read the instructions, you use the missile. You guys all pass. Goodbye. Which I thought was hilarious. So I was a javelineer who never even practiced javelining. Then I went to airborne school and I found out I really liked jumping out of airplanes. I was like fucking into it. It was so hot and sexy and I just loved the feeling of doing it. And then I had my 5th jump and I got entangled with another parachutist and spun deadly to the ground and wrestled through his silk to finally get my parachute to open, bounced off the floor, and managed to walk away with really damaged knees, I think. Went on my leave, and then 30 days later tried to get on an airplane and blacked out and had a fucking panic attack and got out of the Army. So that's the story of Greg was a parachutist. And there you have it. It's 2001. Was it his fault or yours? It was either nobody's fault or it was a jump master's fault. So it was a mass exit at night. So I was 11th man in my chalk. And so the way that works is you get over the landing zone, drop zone, and you got jump masters on each door of your C-131. We're on a C-131, yeah. Or C-130, whatever. C-130, C-131, whatever it takes. And light goes green and they go, 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 right? But like they hold you and you're supposed to alternate doors on half-second intervals. And allegedly the jump masters are coordinating that. And they probably were, but like there's eddies and air currents and all kinds of fucking shit, man. And yes, we both walked away. Staff Sergeant Beam, we had a good cry and a hug, actually. We found each other because you have to, anyway, if you want to know the whole story, I'll tell you. Anyway, you jump, you assume your tight body position, which is like an L shape where you hold your reserve in case you have to pull it. And you go 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, and then your parachute opens and knocks the wind out of you. If you get to the end of 4,000, you throw your parachute, you throw your reserve. And then you snap your head up and you inspect your parachute for holes, because that's a problem sometimes. Hey, Army, how about a parachute without holes? Can't do that. Just fucking look and make sure there's no holes while you're in the air. And I got my head to snap into my parachute inspecting position about here when I got hit in the jaw by someone else's parachute opening sideways and then wrapping around my neck and up into my lines. and I started my procedure. So my parachute was in a half slip, not a quarter slip, but a half slip, which means I had a half a parachute. His parachute was cigarette rolled and not opened up and tied around sort of my shoulders, my neck, and up into my lines, and he was dangling below me. Entangled parachutes is what you're supposed to do. A higher jumper is supposed to climb to the lower jumper. You hold on to each other's harnesses, and then you land away from each other, right? Like, that's what you're supposed to do. Well, his parachute had no air in it, and I was in the best shape of my life, but I was still a human being full of adrenaline. And to climb down to him, I was actually pulling him up to me. I made it a good 2 or 3 pulls before I was like, this is not gonna happen. I didn't have a knife because we didn't have knives, it was training, so I couldn't cut him free, and honestly, I'm glad I couldn't, because I would have, and he'd be dead. I have to live with that shit. So I just started wrestling. I just started wrestling with his parachute, and we're at 1,100, we jumped from 1,100 feet, which is low. So you don't have a lot of time to do this shit. And I wrestled my way out. His chute opened, my chute opened. I dropped my ruck onto my thing. So you have a 50-foot tether on your ruck. And by the time I pulled the tether, he never pulled his. To drop it, it hit the ground, and I hit the ground, and I bounced. So we got down quick. I mean, like, though I could see all the other jellyfish just shrinking into the night. And you land, you bounce, you catch your breath. Most deploys shoot at 1,000 feet. Yeah, we jumped at 1,100. That's where we jumped. And 850 in combat. They come in lower in combat, which is why, I mean, first off, I mean, I don't know when the last time, I think Panama was the last time we did a fucking airborne insertion. But dudes at 850, they don't even carry a parachute. They just carry extra ammo. They don't carry a reserve because you have no time for it. But 1,100-foot bounce is pretty cool. So I like to point out that was 150 feet lower than the top of the Empire State Building. So effectively a base jump. Yeah, so I bounced, I caught my breath. You do this weird thing where you like reel in your parachute in a figure 8. Like you look like a fucking corn dog doing this thing. And you tighten it all up. And it's a night jump, so like you can't see anybody out there, and there's like a flare. You walk towards the flare. I walk towards the flare, and I just start asking, hey, have you heard about anybody being entangled? Do you hear about anybody being entangled? You know, we found each other, had a good cry and a hug. And I never saw the guy again, Sergeant Beam, Staff Sergeant Beam. I didn't know him before that moment. You know, I was just private first class station. And he was Staff Sergeant Beam, and that was the first time I ever met that guy in my life, and the last time I ever met that guy in my life. So I hope he's doing well. And that was a long time ago. It was a long time ago. So, and that was the last time I jumped out of an airplane. I have flown since then. I didn't fly for a really long time. Then I got myself back on an airplane for work a few times. My wife and I had a very bad flight to London for work. And I wasn't even sure I was gonna get back on that plane. I had a panic attack that lasted like the whole fucking flight. I was like pricing out going home on a boat and shit. I did manage to get home. I did fly one more time to Florida, but then I drove home from Florida. And so I haven't been back on a plane since. I have been trying to get myself back onto a plane since then, not like aggressively. I went to like a program. They were like, we can't help you. You have actual PTSD. We don't do that shit. And then I would like to be able to fly. But then I just heard that like Elon Musk is remaking the FAA, and like, psst, I'm done. I don't need to fly. I'm staying on the ground, man. No sirree, Bob, baby. I'm staying on the ground. What inspired you to pursue making drinks? Well, I was living in New York. Ex-Army, current Army civilian, much respect, my man. Oh, thank you, Rev. Woo, that gets better all the time. So we, sorry, I'm lost my train of thought there again. Why did I make the show? Well, I went to film school eventually. After the Army, I did a lot of different jobs. I repossessed cars, I delivered pizzas, I worked at a pawn shop, I did security at boxing matches in Atlantic City, I was a land surveyor, I was a union stagehand in Atlantic City. Did a lot of different jobs. And that's like a fraction of them. I'm famous amongst my friends for having more jobs than anybody should have ever had. I worked in a metal shop, making clean rooms and riveting. Did a lot of different shit. And then one day, I was standing on a beach in Atlantic City in February, and it was so cold that the ocean was coming in and freezing on the sand, and I was trying to hammer a wooden stake because I was a rod man, and my transit guy was like, put the stake there, and I was trying to put the stake into the sand, and it was splitting across the sand, and I said, I don't want to fucking work outside anymore. I want to go to film school. And so I went to film school at SVA, and the whole time I was like the older guy there. I was like 22, 21. I don't know. I was old enough to drink, so I was popular in that way. And I kept asking my teachers, like, hey, what am I going to do for a living when I get out of here? Because, like, I don't know. Do they, like, hire directors out of college? Because I'm majoring in directing. And they were like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I want to direct. And they're like, well, then you should major in directing. I was like, yeah, but I also need to pay my bills. I'm noticing that a lot of the other kids around here don't seem to have that requirement. I have to make money. Do you want to direct? I was like, yeah, so major in directing. Okay, fine. So I got out of school. I had no prospects. And a friend of mine who had graduated ahead of me, another older guy, he had become an editor and was really successful at it. Had a permalance gig cutting, of all things, Sesame Street. He was the editor of Sesame Street. And he kept giving me like shit, like, Greg, why are you trying to PA? Why are you trying to find work on set? Like, I have editing gigs that I can't take, and I think you'd be a great editor. And I was like, I hate editing. I fucking hate it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to sit at a desk and edit. And he was like, you have to become an editor because you'll be good at it and I can give you money. And I was like, finally, I was like, it was Christmas season and they were hiring at Restoration Hardware, which is a fancy furniture store, and I had worked in retail before, and I was like, I can get that job. And they didn't hire me. And I was so pissed that I went upstairs into my office with my computer, and I sat down and I went to Andrew Kramer's website, and I learned as much about After Effects as I could in 2 weeks. And then I told my buddy Jesse, I'm ready to be an editor. And he said, great. And he hooked me up with a gig that paid no money. And then that led to a gig that paid $150 a day. And I worked that for like a year. But at least I was doing something. And I was I was doing a little better than breaking even. And sometimes being in New York, because I would have to commute in on that $150 a day gig, meant that I would be able to get in touch with people I knew from school and other things like that. And they would recommend me for another job. And so I'd be like, hey, $150 a day job. I'm gonna be out for a week because I got a real job for a week, so let me go do that. And so I would do that back and forth. And then I was good at it, and people recommended me, and word got out, and I kept getting more and more work and kept, working contacts from college. And the next thing I knew, I had a permalance gig at a place called Jalbert International, which was a small family-owned production that did sports content. I worked there as their senior editor lead for 3.5 years before I had my kid. And then they just weren't paying me enough money. I was in New York. My wife and I were living on the Upper West Side because she would commute to New Jersey, and I would commute to Soho, and that was actually the nexus point there. Never mind the fact that we've been chased out of our apartment by Hurricane Sandy in New Jersey, and that was a whole journey. And I was like, oh my God, my daughter was born, and I don't have any, I'm not making enough money. We are gonna become homeless. And I quit my job because I was like, listen, you don't pay enough. I know what my services are worth. I'm quitting my job. I am available at this rate when you want to hire me, but I'm freelancing from now on. And I went and found other clients. And every month I had to find 21 days worth of work. And I did. And I was very lucky. And Meredith was a factor there because we had gone to college together, and she had become I forget her title, but she was some kind of a producer at a post-production house. And so she would bring me in for pretty good work. It was great. I was working at Imaginary Forces. That was a cool gig. I used to work at an agency called Mustache. I used to work at BBDO. I did work with this guy, David B. Kelly, who's like a art animator dude in the fashion industry. I did a lot of stuff in fashion. I know Brennan from film school too. We all had classes together, me, Brennan, and Meredith, and Jesse, and a number of other, Alex Chinisi was my college roommate. He's like on his way to being, he's a big cinematographer. He shoots things you have seen, I promise. Great friend. So Dan Hahn, another guy, edits features and stuff like that. So I know all kinds of stuff. Thank you, Scott. Yes, 21 days is a crazy high minimum for freelancing. Dude, I used to tell people, I used to relate it to parachuting. I was like, it feels like I've jumped out of the plane and instead of using a parachute, every 30 days I have to push the ground away with my hands. That's what it felt like. And I was fucking dying living in New York City doing that until finally my wife, for her job, had to move to New Jersey and my cost of living went down. Meanwhile, to the extent that we were able to, it was the cocktail renaissance was going on and I wasn't totally penniless and neither was she. We would go out, you know, especially before we had kids. And I really fell in love with mixology as like a hobby. I was just like super into it. Prior to the Army, I had, through my uncle's college roommate, been a PA. Before I went to the Army, before I was a film student at all, I was a PA at a place called Michael Straman Company that did food commercials. So I had been around tabletop cinematography where they make food commercials in slow motion and stuff like that. And I had absorbed a little of that and I knew a little bit about that process. And then I went to film school and I'd know more about that process. And so I was working as an editor and I liked cocktails and I didn't know anything about YouTube. And I said, I bet I can make cocktails sexy. And I think I'm kind of fun. Maybe I can make cocktails that are sexy and fun. And I can use that as a real proof to get commercial work. And then I can direct. And hey, I'll do it in the guise of a YouTube show and I'll put it online because maybe that'll get me the commercial work and maybe that'll be something, who knows. And that's really where How to Drink came from. To the extent of research that I did, I went around on YouTube at that time and I said, there are people doing cocktails on here and there's two kinds. There's cocktails that look good and have a budget, but they always have a sponsor because how else are you gonna do it, you know, with no money. And the guy doing the work is really stiff on camera, or girl, they're a model, they're just brought in like as an ad rep or something like that. And then there's people doing cocktails that are fun, but they don't have any production values. I think I can do production values and fun at the same time, and I think I can do it cheap. And that was the birth of How to Drink. And I said, I made 7 episodes in my living room, and I said, if I get 1,000 subscribers, I'll do more. But I couldn't do more because I didn't have a free camera anymore. Guy I knew through people at school who was now an associate producer, Stefano, who's part owner of the show, producer, was like, I'm gonna fucking find you a camera. I'm gonna find you a free camera because this is great. And that's how the show continued. And so that's the story of how to Drink happened. There you go. At the time, the only other person who was consistently making cocktails, there was 2 other channels, I think. There was Sky, Tipsy Bartender, and then I think there was Everyman Cocktails, and then Cocktail Chemistry started up like right after me, and me and Babish, who doesn't do cocktails, but we started at like exactly the same time. I never worked with Babish, by the way, prior to doing YouTube, but we did work at the same places, apparently. He was a flame artist. I don't know if you know what flame is, but real-time compositing, super fucking crazy shit. Like very expensive to get into as well. But just in case you were wondering his background, flame. Do I think film school is worth it? It certainly was for me. Everybody I know who went to film school, what's up, dinner? Okay, I gotta cut out of here soon. But everybody I went to film school with, not everybody, but most of the people a lot of the people I went to film school with are working in the industry. And a lot of those people had no contacts before film school. Film school is where they got their contacts. I got my contacts from film school for the most part, because the assistant director who got me work once upon a time stopped working, he retired, and then he expired, and it was never, you know, I'm saying like the one contact I had didn't exist. But, so it was really worth it for me. I would have never been an editor. I would have never been in this guy. So it was huge. I think it matters what film school you went to. I went to the School of Visual Arts, which at the time was okay. I think it's had better times. I think it might be in a better time now. I don't know. So I think that matters. You'll learn skills, but I don't know if it matters now. I mean, this is a long time ago. So I don't know about now, but I do know that it mattered. Actually, one of my favorite teachers just passed away this past week, Chris Newman. He was so good. And also a 3-time Oscar winner. And that was what was cool about SVA, is all the teachers were like, by the way, I worked on The Godfather. And like, they had real fucking work, man. And so that's my answer about film school. Tipsy's great. And that was also too, I was like, cool, he'll do that thing. He's gonna do the club drinks, he's gonna do the frat drinks, I'll do old fashions. And we'll be like 2 sides of the coin. And we made room for each other. We never discussed this, by the way. I just try to be a good neighbor to the other YouTubers, the other cocktail YouTubers, to the extent that I can. I try not to step on toes. I try not to steal other people's ideas. I try to promote other people. I try to be cool, that's all. Good neighbor policies, you know? Are there any bar and or lounge I would recommend to in New York who resides in New York for the first time? Yeah, man. If you can get yourself into PDT, that'll be great. If you can get yourself into Attaboy, that'll be great. If you can get yourself into, and you can, by the way, oh, shit. Why can't I think of it right now? Dead Rabbit Grocery and Grog is fantastic. They do pop-ups now of Blacktail, which used to be my favorite bar in the city. The bar itself closed, but now they pop up Blacktail around the city occasionally. I forget what bar it was called, but wherever Bernard Hopkins works is good. Employees Only is probably still good. You can't go to Milk and Honey anymore because it's gone. You can't go to the Pegu Club anymore because it's gone. I'm trying to think of other places that are cool. That I know of. Pouring Ribbons and Dear Irving. No, Pouring Ribbons is gone. Dear Irving is still around, and they have a few locations. And as well as the Rains Law Room, which is a sister facility to the Dear Irving. All good, all good, all good. Great drinks, fantastic cocktails. I've never been to Sunken Harbor, but I hear wonderful things. I really gotta go. I hear wonderful things. Yeah, Dutch Kills is also in Long Island City. That was a great spot, by the way. Oh, I did? I missed a super chat? I'm sorry. Let me see. Do you feel like your personality or beliefs have changed through your life? Absolutely. Absolutely. And if they haven't, you're an asshole. I mean, when I was in high school, I was a douchebag. I was a nerd who was quasi-goth, who had very limited friends and wasn't cool. We didn't have the term for it, so I wouldn't say an incel, but I was like, you know, adjacent. Which is weird, because unbeknownst to me, I think girls did like me. I was just an asshole. And that's how I know that incels are just assholes. I just was an asshole. There's no other way to put it. And I grew up. I stopped being that guy, thank God. The Rainbow Room, long time gone, LJ. Long time gone, unless it reopened. But yeah, sure. The Rainbow Room, if you can go back to 1997, go to the Rainbow Room. And then Kirschwasser. It's a dry cherry brandy. Hey, me too. I'm also a reformed asshole. Yeah, I was an asshole. And I think a lot of people were. I had libertarian ideas, which were stupid. I was like a real, I was an asshole. I was the asshole you expect, an 18, 19, 20-year-old man to be. But I also, in many ways, wasn't. I can give myself some credit. I definitely wasn't all asshole. I just had a propensity to being an angry young man. And so a lot of my politics have changed. I mean, when I went to SVA, I didn't know anything about anarcho-political philosophy. And I don't know that I would call myself an anarchist, but like just learning a little bit about anarchism, because I had a film school professor, Dan Ricuscio, whose first day of class said, "Hi, I'm Dan Ricuscio, this is Film and Literature. And for the record, I am a radical anarchist, and I am here to radicalize you. And I'm not the nice kind of anarchist. I am a ballots in hand, bombs in pockets anarchist. Let's go." And that was how he started class. And that is how I and literally it was like, so what are you, you're talking about not having order. You're talking about Mad Max. And so I had to I make an effort to wrap my head around other people's perspectives. I don't know if other people do that, but I was like, oh shit, okay, wait. Anarchism appears to be an actual political philosophy. I better wrestle with that so I can at least converse with these people. You know, maybe for a hot minute I thought I was an anarchist, but I'm not, you know. Oh, bass professor. Listen, man, I love Dan. Dan is unwell. Like, I don't think that Dan has, he might be a slight touch crazy, but that's okay. Do you think you could be a good accelerationist? No, I'm definitely not an accelerationist. Dan's an accelerationist, and like genuinely, to the extent that I don't want to put this on him. Don't quote, I think he voted for Trump the first time around. I think he told me that because he thought he would destroy America. And so I'm definitely not an accelerationist. In fact, I don't know that I could even be, I think that the idea of revolution in general, or like hastening collapse, is a child's idea. It's a child's idea, and I say that without unequivocally. Like, that is an idea for a child whom is responsible for nobody. Because the minute you have children, you realize that you have to feed them, and that in trying to hasten any collapse, you will see the destruction of the supply chains that make that possible. And you will possibly be caught up in some red terror. Who knows if you did the wrong thing one time? Like, it's a child's idea. It's a total child's idea. So, no, I'm definitely not an accelerationist. Yeah, Conquest of Bread. I got like halfway through that, and then I was like, I'm not that in charge. I'm not that into this. There's like, I don't know, what is the anarchist's favorite drink, Greg the Titan? Well, we all know what the anarchist's favorite drink is. It's a Molotov cocktail. They just haven't weighed out the ramifications of imbibing such a drink. Did you just at the bread book? I did, because, look, man, so Kropotkin is like, obviously this is gonna happen, and obviously this is gonna happen. He's not describing a plan. He's observing trends for at least the first half of the book and saying, we can clearly say that the value of this is gonna do that, and therefore this is gonna happen. We can clearly see that labor is trending in this direction, and therefore, well, fucking none of those things happen. So if all of his beliefs and foundations are beliefed or whatever, built upon those observations, I feel like you've come to the wrong conclusions. Like, I don't think that you were doing the math right, buddy. I think you're kind of wrong. And you know, to the ideas, like, I don't know, I got a lot of shit because I'm pro gun control, and I got a lot of shit from the left. Like, I'm going to tell you guys a fact right now. Nobody ever threatened my life from the right, but the left has, because I'm pro gun control, and apparently the proletariat must never be disarmed. Well, here's a little thing you should know about that guy. He never even got in a fucking fight. The guy who said that never, as far as we know, ever got into a fight. I think there was one time he was challenged to a duel and he let somebody else do it. So, like, I wouldn't take his motherfucking word for on what you should be doing with your flesh and blood, okay? That's all. I think that your political philosophy is a waypoint. It's just like sailing. You set yourself for a heading, but 239 degrees goes on forever. It goes all the way around the world. It goes way past where you're going to stop sailing. You're going to go way past where you're going to stop sailing. You can never get to 239 degrees. It's a direction. And I think your political philosophy is a direction, and you just try to take steps in that direction. It's not about getting to anarchism. It's not about getting to capitalism. You just have an idea about we should be more this way or less this way. And you try to take the right steps. And sometimes you can't, sometimes you do. Right? But if you have this idea that we're going to get there, I have terrible news for you. That is not how it works. So, that's Greg. I have to go to the bathroom, and my family wants me to eat dinner with them. So I think I got to wrap it up. Have I been canceled yet? Have I been canceled now? Am I canceled? Hey, can we talk one more time about my Patreon? Can we talk one more time about that? Because I gotta live. Yeah. Not canceled yet. Hey, you know what's funny? A gun tuber whose fans specifically threatened to kill me just got mentioned in a New York Times article. I'll say no more. From the left. Anyway. We need Greg to live, guys. So anyway, if you sign up for my Patreon, what are you going to get? You're going to get access, of course, to the beautiful HTD app designed and developed by yours truly. It sorts, it slices, it dices, it lets you save your favorite cocktails so you can come back to them later. It's got every drink in the How to Drink pantheon, mostly, because I built a parser that sucks them in from my YouTube channel. And it works pretty good, but Meredith and I got to refine all the data. You might be able to get pins. I'm going to say that you will. Sure, we'll do the pins. We're going to keep that going for now. So pins exist. If you get into pins now, pins exist. But you will get access to our private Discord where Irby Gerbies is from. And I think probably a few other, Samantha Crouch is in there. Barty Crouch's hot sister? I don't know. You can get in there and chit-chatty with all of us about all kinds of things. It's not just a place about cocktails. Honestly, I don't even go into the cocktail room, to be blunt. I don't want to get dragged into that. I stay in the regular room that I set up when I first started it, where I can just shit post about whatever I want. But I'm in there, and you're in there, and we're all in there together, and it's great, and it's run by this amazing group of people. And you will enjoy it. There's behind-the-scenes content. There's exclusive cocktails. A lot of times, when I'm shooting an episode of How to Drink, I do 5 or 6 drinks in the episode, and then I hit cut, and then I hit record, and I say, hey, patrons, this is your exclusive drinks for that episode, and then that goes on to Patreon. There are entire episodes up there. This week, I was going to release an episode on Aphrodisiac cocktails, but because it was such a deep dive and so weird and niche and experimental, I thought YouTube won't appreciate this. We're going to make it a patron episode. That's on there. So here's the real kicker. The revenue on the YouTube has shit the bed, the whole bed. The whole bed. It's Amber Hearded up in here like you wouldn't believe. You know, we went, I mean, something happened on January 1 of 2024 when I think YouTube changed their ranking, and I got my legs cut out from under me. We went down to like 30%, like on the day. And I know I'm coming. And as a result of that, like How to Drink YouTube revenue counts for about, now I would say 10%. But at one point, like last year, it was 30% of what it used to be that made the bills pay. And as a result of that, without Patreon, the show can't exist because this show is my full-time job, my very long, many hours full-time job. I work many, many hours. I work till, I would like to see my family. It is Meredith's full-time job. We have occasionally freelance editors. It used to be all the time. I can't afford to have them all the time. I try to keep them busy though. And so, I know, I'm coming. I'll eat it cold. And it's, without Patreon, the show dies. I'm sorry, that's just the facts of the matter. So if you like the show and you want to keep it going and you want me to stay around and do this thing and not have to go get a real job, and believe me, I'm with you. I don't want to do any of those things either. Woo! You just check out the Patreon. Maybe there's something over there for you and you will enjoy it. That said, Greg's got to go. Greg's got to go. Dinner awaits. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. Check out this week's exclusive episode about the Aphrodisiac cocktails made from figs and chocolate and strawberries and the Spinzall. It's all Spinzall based. But there's a lot of flavor science and stuff in there. It's a lot of fun. On my Patreon, go to htdapp.com or go to patreon.com/howtodrink. Thank you very much, Baron. Let me just run through here. Did I miss any super chats? Oh shit, I missed a bunch. At this point, Greg is the alcoholic version of ordinary sausage, and I'm here for it. Thank you. Thank you, Corey Scott Corey. Thank you, Ericora. Thank you. Could you make a drinkable cocktail out of salmiak? I don't know what that is. I would have to get some. That was for Technical Fool. Rob made a Mr. Prado. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, right, because I did a Perez Prado drink, right. JS2K, yes, we answered that. Enjoy your cold dinner. Get the app, people. Thank you all so much. Good night. Good luck. I love you. And keep it real out there. Tonight at the pit.